And then bring it right up to your mouth, if you would, and then raise it up so you're real close. Okay. If you would state your name and from where you come.
Good afternoon. My name is Vladimir Gajic. That's Gagic, and I'm from North Phoenix.
North Phoenix. Okay, sir, you have 5 minutes if you need it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Senators, thank you for having me today. I appreciate the opportunity to share my unfortunate experience with the State Bar of Arizona.
Closer to the mic.
My unfortunate experiences with the State Bar of Arizona as a word of warning to the danger that it presents to all the law-abiding citizens of the state, regardless of party, regardless of identity.
Quick question.
Sure.
How long have you been an attorney?
I had been a lawyer for 20 years
Okay.
with zero discipline, right? I'm an immigrant, I admit that, but we're lawful immigrants. We came here, my folks ran away from Tito, from the UDBA,
Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia.
Mm-hmm.
In the 70s, in Sweden, Tito's UDBA came to my folks when me and my sister, we were just kids, we were toddlers, and said, we want you to spy on all the other immigrants. And if you do, we'll make life very easy for you, right? We'll give you anything you want, and if you don't, we'll make your life miserable. They went to the Swedish police, they couldn't do anything, so they decided to come to America, because here in America, it's liberty, and you have freedom, and you don't have to worry about things like that. And they my dad said, I'd rather die than betray the freedom of another person, right? But today, I told my parents what I've gone through with the State Bar of Arizona. And I know what Mark had texted me before he had died, or a couple of years ago, with the State Bar of Arizona.
Brnovich?
Brnovich. It is every bit as bad as the UDBA, the State Bar of Arizona. In fact, it's worse, because at least with the communists, they didn't hide what they were doing. They would just tell you, you do this, or we're going to do something else to you, hurt your kids, stuff like that. If you do what we want, we'll make your life great. But with the State Bar of Arizona, it's all hypocrisy. It's all hypocrisy. And that's why Arizona in 2014, in a Harvard study, was voted the most corrupt state in America, by far. By far. It's directly because of the State Bar of Arizona. And so if I could just tell you, 20 years I'm a lawyer, no discipline, no, not even diversion, nothing like that. And I'm a public defender in Pima County. Then I have a small DUI practice that I do for a while. And then here in Maricopa County, I start doing court-appointed cases. And I get a random case assigned to me, a guy named Jamal Pennington. And I'm not some sort of crazy advocate, activist. I'm not throwing Molotov cocktails at police. Something happens, I call the police, right? I'm law-abiding. I don't even have a criminal speeding ticket. And Serbs, like me, we tend to be very super conservative. I went to 5 Trump rallies in 2016. That's just the kind of guy I am. But I believe that everybody is legitimately entitled to have an opportunity to defend themselves if the government accuses them of a crime. And it is my responsibility to ensure that right, regardless of what could happen to me. And that's not something that we get it from the Constitution, but that's not where it origins from. It comes from God, right? The most natural right we have is to defend ourselves from false accusations. Or even if they're true accusations, we still have the right to defend ourselves. And me, as a defense attorney, I have that obligation to stand up for somebody else, to kind of be that bulwark, right? And I was doing that for Jamal. He was falsely accused. I didn't believe anything he was saying. I didn't believe a word of it. Then I started digging into the case, and I won't get into the details because there's a lot of details, but it included a case agent bribing a defense witness. And that's not just me saying it, it's actually in writing. It's in writing. If you've ever seen the Frontline episode, Sex Trafficking in America, about the HEAT, Human Exploitation and Trafficking by Phoenix Police, that was created by Cindy McCain's task force, that's the unit we're talking about. And they've been lionized and they've been celebrated. Fine, no problem with stopping trafficking. I'm 100% in agreement. But the man, he was a black man, was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows he's innocent. Everybody knows that, but now he's sitting 17 years in prison on a flat sentence because nobody cares. And everybody is afraid. Any defense attorney who takes this case is afraid of what's going to happen to him or them if they try to defend him like I did. So I got essentially de facto disbarred. I'm the only lawyer in 100 years to lose my license without a hearing, on a merits, without default, or with consent. I said that right to Marette Vasella in Senator Kern's office, and she could have named somebody else. Also in Senator Kern's office, which the State Bar knows all about, one of the judges who filed a complaint against me, his name is Roy Chuck Whitehead. Why did he file a complaint against me? So nobody finds out that during the day he is at strip clubs. I'm not the one who saw him. My investigator saw him, and he told me about it after Whitehead was just staring blankly at me at a hearing. He told me that. He walks up to me after a hearing and says, I saw that guy yesterday. He was at Bourbon Street. He's there all the time. A bunch of people see him there during work hours. Not only that, my investigator tells me he goes to the bartender, a guy named Kurt. Whitehead was leaving his business cards there. So why is a judge can't buy a car or a house and say, hey, by the way, I'm a judge. How about some favoritism? No, for obvious reasons. For obvious reasons. The reason I am telling you this is because with my second meeting with Kern, Anthony Kern, my investigator was there, Marette was there, Kern was there, and so was Joel England, who's the chairman or the CEO of the bar. My investigator told them that, and they already knew. The bar knows all about it. Mitchell knows all about it. And I'm not bringing this up to slander a judge or to defame him or anything like that. I don't care. But I am entitled to defend myself. And I am entitled to point out to the extent that the bar will subvert the truth just for cronyism. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up. And now, I'm being formally disbarred because I went on Twitter just to talk about it, right? Just to go on Twitter and talk about it and tell stupid fat jokes. Because what else am I going to do all day? What else am I going to do all day? And just last week, the state bar judge said, I don't have the right to subpoena any witnesses in my defense.
2 minutes.
Okay. I don't have the right to subpoena any witnesses in my own defense. I don't have the right to do what's called a subpoena ducis tecum, where you ask for documents, even though the state bar has that right. She said that literally in her writing. I don't have the right to depose any witnesses in my own defense. I have no right to defend myself for the sin of criticizing the state bar of Arizona on X. I don't have that right. Lucky me, right? Lucky me. And with your permission, I actually have some kind of sad text messages that Mark had sent me a couple years ago that I think the committee needs to hear about what he had told me about the stress and the aggravation that he went through. Because I don't think she's wrong. I think Rachel Alexander said quite directly on Twitter that contributed to his death because of the stress and the aggravation he was going through. If I may?
Yes, you have a minute.
Yes. All right. Can I read him as he wrote him?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is one of them. They're a-holes. They dragged the case against me and Kane filled out for more than a year, kept making us respond to BS questions that were none of their business, file legal responses, etc., and finally dismiss bogus complaints that should have been shit-canned in a week. That's the problem when you have a group of unelected and unaccountable bureaucrats that can literally destroy your professional life. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Another one he wrote.
And when was that?
That was in May of almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
Right. And then the second one is, he says to me, but I'm more than willing to testify or make a statement once you have a strategy. I say, got it, thank you. Then he says, dude, the bar and all the bogus stories in the New York Times and the WAPO cost me a job at Fox News. I get it, I've said it, but you don't fuck with a person's spouse or livelihood, but that's what they do. And I've said in interviews, if your name ends with a Vic, V-I-C, or VAC, they have free reign to screw with you because the Slavs are sort of disorganized and we don't stick together.
Time.
That's it.
Okay, now we'll subject you to questions,
Sure.
if okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
Thank you.
Senator Fincham, go ahead.
I am very sorry that you're dealing with a quasi-authoritative group. Are you familiar with the anti-delegation doctrine?
I'm not.
Okay. Basically, it means government officers unless it's specifically stated in law, they don't have the authority to delegate responsibility. I find it interesting that the Arizona court system has delegated its responsibility when it's supposed to have direct oversight over lawyers that are licensed to practice law within it. So I hope you come back, because I've got a bill that basically severs that relationship and turns the bar into nothing more than a fraternal organization. Second of all, are you aware that 90% of the bar's contributions politically go to one party?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. If I could just add too, Marette Vasella, her husband's actually, I think he was a lobbyist for a substitute teachers union. That's kind of like a secret. That's on the down low.
Yeah, well, they don't have any secrets, because contrary to what you said before, they are out in the open, and therein lies the problem, that they are using influence to affect who gets representation and who doesn't. I'm intimately familiar with that. So, again, I apologize on the behalf of the state of Arizona that you are being targeted by a weaponized organization. You know, the other piece of that is Project 65, which has sought to disbar attorneys all over the country for doing nothing more than representing clients that needed representation. I think gone are the days of Clarence Darrow.
Absolutely.
Guys that would take on a case just because everybody is deserving of equal access to the law.
That's right.
Equal opportunity to defend themselves. But now we are falling into this world of, well, you can always do it pro se if an attorney won't support you. So thank you for your testimony, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Other questions? We are sorry for the hassle of your life, and that's why we're having this expose.
It's such a relief. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Chair, to that point, sir, if you could leave your name and phone number, I'd like
Yes.
to contact you.
Absolutely.
All right,
100%.
thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now we have